Jeremy Kwaterski.
That's right.
Jeremy Kwaterski. Entitled The Godfather of Cell Phone Repair, the founder of CPR Cell Phone Repair, you are a serial entrepreneur, a keynote speaker, a thought leader. You're out of Somerville, Georgia. There are several companies that you run and have started. RepairsFirst.com, GadgetRepairExpo.com, theVAteam.com, BalloonShows.com, AccelerateFranchise.com, TheBizExpo.com. A lot of incredible things. Gosh, Jeremy, let me just read a couple other things. First of all, we're honored that you're able to join the show. This is going to be one of the first, I think it's the 5th episode for Marbleism. It's called For All the Marbles, sponsored in partnership with Marbleism. And the goal is to have individuals on that represent the entrepreneur community, that are serial entrepreneurs, that are thought leaders, as part of the description included, that want to be able to help people by sharing ideas, realizing that if you've gone down the path of this, you have so many things to be able to share. That was the goal with Uric and me, as he brought me in, to be able to talk to people that can share what are the best practices, what are the trials, what are the tribulations, what are the lessons that one entrepreneur can share with others. The objective or the description for All the Marbles is this, which I think is so cool. Dream big, start small, fight hard, lose some, but win more. It's the real stories of entrepreneurs chasing it all, which is going to align perfectly with you. The ability to be an entrepreneur. What was the first company that you started? And do you remember why you started it?
Yeah, I got into my own business, auto detailing cars, probably at 18, 19 years old. I'd never been an effective work for somebody person. I think I've quit more jobs than any business I've ever started. So I would say I was a terrible worker. I was an incredible entrepreneur because, I always felt like if I was going to bet on something, I might as well bet on myself. That's the only outcome I can guarantee. I never gambled, never played slot machines or tables or did any of those things until I was well into my 40s. I always had this in my mind: it's gambling's going to be, it's going to be on me, right? I'm gonna gamble on myself, and that's the only thing I can control. So I started out detailing cars, and then I was offered a job in the wireless industry in 92 after I got out of high school. I started selling cell phones, install phones, that kind of thing. From there, I never left that industry. I'm still in it today in one shape or another. We got into pager recrystallizing. We became one of the largest repair centers for Nokia. Back in 97, 98, we became an authorized Motorola repair center, started doing Nextel repairs. We went from pagers to cell phones. And initially, we were just stripping phones down. There was no parts. Couldn't go on eBay or buy parts from China. We were stripping brand new phones apart and making thousands of dollars off parts off brand new phones, fixing other people's phones. So we were invited by Nokia to become one of their first repair centers in the US in order to stop basically scrapping AT&T phones and tearing them apart. Even though they were ours, we could do whatever we wanted to. They just thought that was highly unusual, but it was effective. It was very effective for us. So that led us down a road where we said, hey, we're the only ones in this niche. Why don't we capitalize on this? And I saw a friend of mine who was an attorney. I saw him one day and I said, what do I do? I got all these friends that are in the wireless industry coming to me and going, how do I start doing what you're doing? How do I start fixing phones and things? And he said, you need a franchise. You need to come up with a cool name, because I think my name at the time was Global Cellular or something like that. He said, you need to come up with a cool name. We need to franchise you. We need to get you out there. I went back to him. I said, how about CPR, like short for cell phone repair? Put a little cross out there, and you can see behind me, you might be able to see some of these logos, things, trademarks and whatnot. And I went back to him. He said, We can't trademark cell phone repair, but we can trademark CPR, cell phone repair. So we did that. And then he said, we can't use that cross because that's the Swiss cross. They'll never allow that. We'll put CPR in the middle of it and see if they'll let it go. And he was dead set against it. But we got lucky and they did allow it. So our cross logo, the CPR and the cell phone repair name, CPR cell phone repair name, became a trademark in 2004. We started franchising. I built, like I said, we opened 400 some doors when I sold the company in 2015. We'd sold 700 units, opened 400 worldwide. We were in South America, we're in Chile, we were in Mexico, we're in Canada, we were all over the US. So we built a phenomenal franchise business. But one of the things I learned is, as a young guy, I was only in my 30s, I was a little out of my depth. I was trying to compete with major franchise companies that not from the line of industry. We were the only one in our industry. But what I'm talking about, when you're competing with a major franchise brand or operations around that, I found that I thought that I lacked the capabilities of bringing CPR to 1,000 units. So I decided to sell out probably earlier than I should have. I've probably heard that a million times from one or two entrepreneurs. But that being said, I spent 2015, last 10 years or so, just really understanding where I came short, where I thought I was not the guy to grow that brand, to discovering that I probably should have stuck around because I would have done a better job in an insurance company. They had no idea what they were getting into when they bought the brand. We formed an independent association called Repairs First Association. And that was when we decided to bring in the tens of thousands of retail independent repair shops that are out there, anywhere from computers, phones, whatever, bring them in and help them with operations and understanding how to increase their business profitability in one way or the other, not just from the repair of the devices standpoint, but the operational aspect. So we did very well with that.
You've been successful with so many different things, but I also want to make sure, and congratulations, I want to make sure that, like, what I'm listening to, there was a couple of things. For individuals that are listening are most likely going to be business individuals that have an idea that maybe haven't made the leap to start something, or they have started something, or they would always like to start something. There's going to be three categories. What I'm hearing from you is that you chose to bet on yourself. Did something happen? Because it sounded like you were at a very young age that you decided to bet on yourself. Did something happen that made you unwilling or not comfortable on betting your time and your expertise to go with some other company? Did something happen?
For sure. Multiple times I was taken advantage of in the realm of how hard I was willing to work, the energy I was willing to put into that job. And to find out that because of my young age or just a relative inexperience in the organization, I was looked over, or even in one case, I was working for a wireless company. I was literally, I don't want to say the word, but they failed to pay me thousands of dollars of commissions that I was due. And so that was kind of the last straw for me. Here I am trying to grow myself and my brand within a company. So they discover who I was and all the efforts that I put in, only to be shafted in one way or the other. Really, it's just upper management not really recognizing who's working for them and what their talents are, and even having a conversation with their own employees at the lower level. So I took that personally, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to go out on my own and do this for myself. And I never looked back because, like I said, I could count on the hours that I put in. It was 80 hours a week. I was doing it for me. Whatever effort I put in, that effort went back in my pocket, not somebody else's.
At a young age, I think that's rare, Jeremy, and not the, but I'm glad that it happened to you early on, so you could then do what you knew that you were meant to be and bet on yourself. Were you always a confident, for some reason, I want to call you a confident cat. Were you always a confident dude, even at such a young age?
No, of course not. I always had, everybody has doubts about what they can accomplish. I think I had some mentors, some friends of mine that have other businesses, and they said, hey, don't give up on yourself. That's important. So when you're young, it's easy to give up. It's easy to say, oh, you know what, I can't do this. But if you push through, just push. Anytime you sit down and you go, I don't know if I can do this, push a little bit harder. Just give it one more step. Another day, another week, right? Push past the failure, or at least the point where you think you have failed, and you realize that you never really did fail. You were just talking yourself into accepting a level of failure in order to back off and go, okay, I can't do this.
Jeremy, when did you know that you were good at this? You're going to be a humble son of you are very good at this. Was there a time that you realized, okay, yes, no doubt you're confident in yourself. You knew that you were going to bet on yourself.
Yeah.
And then you did it, and you pushed through and you pushed through and you pushed through. Was there ever a point that you realized, I'm good at this. I'm good at figuring stuff out?
Yeah, sure. When you have some money in your pocket and you're working hard, and that money that goes into your pocket is going in faster than the money that's going out, you realize you're accomplishing something. I don't think you ever even discovered how to balance a checkbook, as my mom would say. Are you ever going to learn how to balance a checkbook? And my answer to her was, I'll just make more money. I won't have to. I don't think I learned how to balance a checkbook until I don't think people stopped writing checks. So it might have been 30 years old before I said, no, I mean, what am I doing here? But I think there was a point where I discovered that I'm very good at building things. My passion is startups, getting them going, turning them over to some key people that I have working for me and letting them run it on a day-to-day. Then I look at the next project and go, oh my God, I can't wait to get my hands dirty. Let's build this. Let's do something else. It's light in some way. Right now we're doing the Biz Expos, which is, we hope to be the next largest competitor, I would say, to the Small Business Expo you might have heard out there in the US. We do about 18 shows a year. We'd like to do 20, maybe 18 or 20, something considerable to that. But we're going to be a lot more fun. We're going to bring some fun to the business. We're also going to show people, I don't care if you've got an idea, I want you to come out to our shows, right? When did I know I was good at this? When success followed me due to my efforts, right? When I had an effort, I put it in, I saw an accomplishment, I started realizing that my accomplishments were stacking up. And it's like you said early on the call, you're going to have some failures. You can't learn unless you make some mistakes. I've made plenty of mistakes, but you got to learn from those, right? You got to go, okay, what did I do wrong here? Regroup. Let me figure out if I can fix this, right? And then when you become very good at fixing things, it's almost like you forgot you even failed. Because you accept that as a failure. It's not really a failure. It's just a small setback. What do I do to overcome that?
And that's a great attitude. And that's a great learning for our listeners. You said a couple of words. You said that you love to create things. And just now you said you love to fix things. And isn't that a really two important characteristics and values, I guess, with regard to entrepreneurs? You like to correct things and you like to fix things. And you found out that you were good at both of those. Because if you were working for someone else, you might not have the flexibility, the time, the empowerment, the enablement to be able to create something. You're maybe just building someone else's thing. And then when it came to fixing things, the pressure was on you. No one was telling you, Jeremy, that you needed to fix this. And probably no one was giving you the roadmap other than your friends, resources, and mentors to be able to fix it, to be able to pull all those things together. You also shared another thing, because I like to get at the root of the why. Did you start becoming, I think I already know the answer, but can you talk about the influence of, I guess, the purpose of being an entrepreneur, the purpose of doing what you're doing? Is it about the money? Is it about not having to balance a checkbook because you got more coming in than anything else? Is that why you're doing it?
I would say it's about the freedom more than anything. Money, secondary. Man, I'll tell you what, anybody that dreams about entrepreneurship, they say, oh, I want to be able to work my own hours. I want to, sure. And then realize you're going to be working 70, 80 of those hours a week, not just a 9 to 5, right? You are still working your hours, right? As we became more linked in by computers and phones, and I could work anywhere. I could take a vacation with the family and still work. I could be on the phone. I could be on a computer. I could still do what I needed to do. I think that is the dream of any entrepreneurs, kind of be on chain, right? As I worked in my retail stores, obviously that wasn't the case. I had to, as an owner, I had to learn to close the laptop and hit the blacktop, so to speak. Like I got to turn over some control to my employees and allow them to do their job. That was probably the hardest learning thing that I ever went through, right? As an entrepreneur, most of us are very control oriented, detail and control oriented. And you got to learn to give up a little bit of that. The why is because I could do all those things, right? I could learn to, so to speak, unhook, unplug, go somewhere and do what I needed to do, enjoy my kids and now my grandkids. But still, I don't think my hours of week have depreciated at all. Over the years, I'm still putting in 70, 80 hours a week. That's just, it is what it is. That's what I do. And I don't look at it like work either.
No.
This is, it's my wife says, you'll never retire. You're just going to invent something else to do. That's probably 100% right.
And isn't that a blessing, Jeremy? Isn't that amazing? So right now, if I did not have my Marbleism screen, you would see that I'm in a hotel room on Goat Island in Newport, Rhode Island. And I am speaking tomorrow to 400 people. I'm doing the opening keynote presentation. My wife and co-founder, she's here, and we're traveling the world, being able to share good ideas with people and talk to cool people like you. That is the freedom that we have. And that's the flexibility we have. We get to create ideas and share them with people. So my main position, besides being a podcast host, Jeremy, I'm a keynote speaker. So it's about motivation. It's about doing what most people don't do and asking questions and learning from others. So I am with you 100%. I've never worked harder my whole life. I've been doing this full-time for 7 years. My wife with me now for 5 years. That's full-time, 5 years, married over 27. But that's the fulfillment element. Just the other day, someone said, if you won the lottery, what would you be doing? I said, I'd be doing this, but probably donating more money. I would be doing this. That's really important about the why behind people are doing this. Jeremy, were there any times for our listeners that you could share in which you were going to quit and get a job?
It's been a long time. I can't remember when that was, honestly, because once I realized I was capable, I just never looked back. And maybe the money wasn't good enough. So the wife finally said, you need to go get a job. I just doubled down and worked harder. I think that anybody that wants to be an entrepreneur, you got to ask yourself, do I have those qualities? That a lot of people get into business and discover that being an entrepreneur or being in business is not for them. That's 100%. That's no fault. It's just a characteristic. Some of us feel comfort in being outside the lines. And that's where I have always, that not breaking any laws, but I like to be the gray side of things. I like to be out there going, what am I doing differently today than anybody else? What road am I going down that hasn't been traveled or traveled very little, right? What strategy can I put in? I could say, I'm not in a traffic jam here. So I think that's what I enjoy. And I don't know that I can also go back and go, when did I ever stop thinking that? It's been a long time. But again, I think that people that are entrepreneurs and they struggle every day, you got to remember, you never stop learning. Matter of fact, I just met a kid, 15 years old, excuse me. He's got a ton of energy. He's a small business entrepreneur. He's already operated several businesses. And there's some things that he's told me that I'm like, wow, here I am, 56 years old, and I'm learning something from a 50-year-old kid. Just the way he approaches life. Or maybe some things that I might have forgot. over the years, right? And I admire that about him and the way he goes about approaching things, right? And maybe it's the generation today, what he's able to extract from that and create a completely different business avenue as an entrepreneur. That being said, you never stop learning. Keep your mind open. Too many people get down on that one track. Oh, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. And you know this. Like, as long as you keep your mind open and don't stop learning, you'll be highly successful. Not every scrap of information is going to be useful. Obviously, some of it goes, but someone's going to stick there, and a lot of it does. And I'll tell you, give you an example. One of the key reasons I was successful in franchising is because I told the franchisees as they came in for Discovery Day that it's not me coming up with all these ideas. It's not me coming up with all of these plans or best practices. These are coming from you. I need to tap into your energy. I need you to teach me some of the things you've learned over the years. And by putting that community together, we can become even more successful. And that's how we were able to grow CPR, cell phone repairs, so fast. In a matter of 5 years, we went from 0 to 300. And it's just, if you can imagine that level of growth and capability of onboarding some months, 20, 30 stores, and you're talking about $200,000 or $300,000 franchise packages with stores, with build out, et cetera, et cetera. We couldn't have done that without tapping into the energy of our own franchisees, right? And that's key. So don't forget who you have with you. Don't forget your employees. Don't forget those people that are working for you. And that's been key for us too. Like, too many people, and that's what started me down this journey, as I said earlier, too many people forget about the people that are working for them, like, putting their energy and time into helping you be successful. Don't forget them. Give them the power.
Because Jeremy, you were forgotten, right? At an early age, they weren't going to pay you thousands of dollars. And I believe people like you, people like me, may have started their own, because I hear this so often from successful people that have started their own businesses. They didn't like the culture that they were seeing in their old job. They didn't like the environment. They didn't like the way people were being treated. They didn't like the way they were treating customers. And if they couldn't change it, they were like, you know what? I could probably do this better. And that's what they did.
That light bulb, that little ding, that light bulb. That's it.
And so a couple things that we're learning, and just a few more questions, Jeremy, and so grateful to be able to chat with you. You bet on yourself when a company perhaps was not treating you well. You bet on yourself because you knew you could rely upon yourself. As you did that, you got more and more confident, not in a cocky way, but in a good way. And you realized that if you use the right resources and mentors and were open to learning from everybody, you could collectively pull people together to grow a business and to go down a path less taken. And it reminds me of the name of our company, my full-time company. It's Most People Don't, and Why You Should. Most people don't choose to go down that path because it might be easier going down this path. But the rewards for you, independence, freedom, creativity, and yes, being able to have a nice living for you, your family, and your grandkids and your wife, great. But you're doing it because you like creating things, you like fixing things, and now you are using the power. And it's so cool because I just started to read some of the list of your companies, Jeremy, and it goes on and on. Because once you have, and tell me if I'm right here, once you have the recipe, you have the playbook on how to start something and build something, you could do it for a rubber band company. It doesn't have to be to repair. It could be for tennis shoes. It could be for anything, correct?
That's right. Absolutely.
And then one of the things that I noticed, and I found a little article on you, it was talking about your spin. Okay. So yes, you have a great background in building a large franchise in a rare repair space. You bring experience at operational and retail side and scaling, but your spin with RFA, Repairs First Association, is that independent repair shops don't need to join a franchise to get the advantages of skill, training, and support. The association model is a way of pooling resources. Now, what a different idea. Did that kind of buck up against the franchise model by saying, we're going to do an association instead?
In a way, less stringent, right? You're bound by somebody's business plan, somebody's branding. You have that independence as an entrepreneur. So I mean, we were able to grab, like I said, the road less traveled. We're able to grab all those independents that said, no way I'm going to be a franchise. I want to be myself. I want to be my own brand. So we were able to grab all those and go, we can help you. You don't need to change your name. You don't need to pay us any royalties. And our membership fee is like $69 a month. It's so low. It's not even on a radar of the average store or location that it's working with us. Our goal is numbers, right? So yes, in some ways it did butt up against that franchise model, but I didn't want to compete with it either. So as I exited and I said, I got 3-year non-compete. What am I going to do? I'm not going to compete. I'm going to go and do something a little bit different, right? I stayed out of the direct franchise role there for a while, but long enough to realize that the road that I did go down was highly successful in the fact that really what these independent locations or independent stores needed, entrepreneurs, it's with guidance, some knowledge about best practices, how to be profitable, how to manage their books. All these things are, like you said, they're cookie cutter, really. You can apply to any business. It's just, what is it that you do? That's okay. You still need to do these 5 or 6 things anyway.
And I think my guess, Jeremy, is that is why you are so aligned with, just like I am, with Marbleism, because you are now helping people that did not want to give up their identity or their dream of their company, but you're helping them through the association being able to teach and train and skill and probably certify and do some incredible things because you've done it and you realize that your other members have done it. And now you're bringing along individuals that want to fulfill that same type of dream.
100%.
Okay. Just a few last questions for you. How can our listeners help you? I will give out your LinkedIn information, of course, but how can our listeners, because I want to help each other, right? You're helping us by teaching us. Thank you. How can our listeners help you? That's question number 1, and I'll pause.
I think that our listeners can help us by attending a biz expo in their area. We'll be in Atlanta coming up in March 20th, and we'll be in Aurora, Colorado in June. I got some other dates not right in front of me at the moment, but in this 26th, come out, participate as an entrepreneur. Come down, shake my hand, say hello. I'm not unapproachable by any means. Unapproachable, excuse me. You can walk up, we can talk. My mission, my personal mission, is to never be that person that you can't talk to. You can't walk up to, you can't ask me a question. I'll never be that person. And we have a lot of passion, me and my team, with sharing our resources and experience with young entrepreneurs, even old entrepreneurs, young relatively and getting started in business, right? So we want to help you. Any of you been out there for a while and you've been struggling and you need a new viewpoint, come see us.
Okay.
We always, you and I could probably talk back and forth about the same thing and come up with two or three different viewpoints that we never thought about before.
I agree. You could teach me, I have different ideas for you, and you could teach me different ideas about speaking.
Absolutely.
So many things we can do, especially when we're open to it and we're not so ego driven that we're like, I don't need anyone's help. I can figure this out on my own. It probably could, but why not use friends, new friends out there? And that's what this podcast is helping to create. Marbleism is helping to create a community in which it's helping entrepreneurs through people like you. The one location, the one company that you just shared, Jeremy, the Biz Expo, it is the Biz X, like the letter XPO.com. I'm sure more information is on there. Repairsfirst.com, gadgetrepairexpo.com, and there's many other ones. Is there any other one that you want to focus in on, perhaps with our listeners trying to support in any way?
No, I think you covered it very effectively. We actually accelerate franchise is another consulting company I own. I help franchise brands grow. So if you thought about franchising, reach out. We're extremely good at that. We can help you go from one location to 100 or 200 or more. So that's another thing. We work with probably 6 or 7 smaller brands that are looking to break out of franchising. Some of them have 20 locations. I've got one that's got well over a couple hundred. So if you thought about franchising your brand, talk to us. We'd love to chat with you.
You know
Any
what?
way you think we do to help.
And Jeremy, what a smart way, I believe, to make money. And I'm going to go back to my father-in-law. Shout out to Stephen Fisher. Sadly, he just passed away in August, but a heck of a gentleman. He made a lot of his money because he franchised something called the Window Man. And it was about a new brand of windows that was going to change the housing industry. And that's what he started to do. Started off with selling siding for a company, worked his way up, and then said, I think I can do this on my own, and looked for a product that would help building manufacturers and building companies and housing companies. And he started something called the Window Man. And he was able to franchise and then being able to accept the rewards of franchising. His idea, great. And the whole franchise concept that he was able to make money based on how he was helping others be successful. And it just provided a very great livelihood for him and for his family. So I have great appreciation for.
How many locations did you grow into?
Gosh, you know what? My wife and co-founder is not in this room right now. Otherwise, I would ask her. But we have to go through his things very soon and in his garage. And I'll probably send a picture just to
Please.
share with you, Jeremy.
I'd love to see it.
But he has all of these articles on articles of incorporation and articles from the newspaper printed and framed and put into his garage because that was his contribution to the world, not just him making money for himself and his family, but being able to provide opportunity for other franchise owners, which is just how lovely is that?
It's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling. It is a lot of pressure, though, right? So here's some people that are handing you their 401ks. They're handing you every bit of money they've got in the bank, and they're trusting you to lead them in a direction of success. And it's an incredibly rewarding business to be in if you do it right. And I'm sure your father-in-law had an awesome business plan that he was able to replicate because he was so successful at it.
Yes.
So if you're thinking about franchise, it's all you really need is secret sauce. Doesn't even have to be such a barrier to entry. Nobody else can do it. It's just got to be the combination of things that has made you successful doing what you're doing. How many burger franchises out there? There's probably a million, right?
So many. Yes.
The ones that are successful and the ones that have grown, their secret sauce isn't how the burgers cook or even what the bun is. It's about how they operate, their operation level that leads them to success, their margins, the way they operate that business effectively. And if you can do that today with your single unit, double unit, 10 units, whatever it might be, and you say, hey, I think I could take this and replicate it, come see me, come talk to me, because it's a rewarding business. It absolutely is.
Yeah, and Jeremy, what I'm learning also from you, and I've never thought about it this way, it is if you have a business that is successful and you have best practices and you are away and you're able to write that successful playbook on how to do it just like you did it, that is the blueprint or the blue path, the blueprint. How about something like that?
Absolutely.
It's the blueprint to success. Having said that, it doesn't seem, I'm sure it's difficult. I know it's difficult, but that probably should give some hope to a lot of people on this call that are like, look, if I have a great idea, and it doesn't need to be a special sauce, as you said, but it needs to be the instruction manual with detailed explanations and processes that I know work because I've done it and this is what it's like. That's what it is. And why not grow and being able to share and do more?
I think that the reason why franchise companies are so successful, and Joe, is because the people that are entrepreneurs that are joining them, They really want a business plan. They want a plan to follow. They're not looking to do all the pain and agony that some of us went through to get where we got, to create that special sauce, if you will, that business plan that's successful that you can replicate now. They don't want to go through all that. If they can skip that and go right to the secret sauce, now you've got to win.
No, and what an incredible way to end that conversation, if you don't mind. I didn't mean to cut you off, Jeremy.
Oh, no worries.
But it's a great way to be able to win, which aligns for the name of the podcast, for all the marbles. Dream big, start small, fight hard, lose some, but win more. You certainly have shared your real story of owners chasing it all, and how you have helped to define entrepreneurship, and how by making hard choices during long nights and chance encounters, it has changed everything. So proud to have you on the show, Jeremy.
Thank you so much.
A heck of a gentleman. I just want to read a couple of things again as we conclude. Jeremy Kwaterski, Kwaterski. Say it one more time so I say it better.
Kwaterski.
Kwaterski. Jeremy Kwaterski. There we go. Jeremy Kwaterski, godfather of cell phone repair, also co-founder of the VA team, founder of Gadget Repair Expo, founder of Repairs First Association, founder and CEO CPR Cell Phone Repair. Connect with him on LinkedIn. You can get links to his other websites of all the great things that he's doing. If you're an entrepreneur aspiring, or a current entrepreneur, or let's be honest, just a person that wants to learn on how to approach things differently in business and in life, Jeremy has a great example of what he has been able to do, to be kind, to help others, to help create things, to make the world a better place. We are so fortunate, Jeremy. Thank you so much for being one of the early guests on For All the Marbles in partnership with Marbles.
Love it. Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
And I need to talk too. I want to get you out to Biz Expo.